All right, May 27th, 2018, Memorial Day weekend. 2 days ago, I made a video about my withdrawal symptoms from Luvox, and I am in agreement with my psychiatrist that maybe it is time to try to wean off of it. But as I said in the other video, there's a price, and I'm paying that price. There's no doubt that I'm going through withdrawal. I was hoping to avoid it, but I'm not going to avoid it. It's happening. And let me address one thing real quickly. Some people have said to me, well, you're always making videos. You're always looking for attention, and you're giving us your tales of woe, that's fine if you believe that, but ultimately, here's the deal. If I suffer with ulcerative colitis and ileostomy or mental illness, and I just suffer with it, and I don't talk about it, then it's just suffering for no positive reason. It's just pure suffering. If I can help other people, showing them what it's like to go through this, then maybe there's some small point to the suffering. Now, I'm not telling you by any stretch of the imagination that I would accept this. If you told me tomorrow that I could not have had colitis and have a normal working colon, and I could have avoided mental illness, I would sign on a dotted line in a heartbeat. So believe me, it's not that I'm happy that I have this, but to me, if I suffer and do nothing with it, then it's pure suffering and it's pointless. This at least gives it some sort of a point. I remember one time when I was 8 years old, my mom and dad took me to Kitty City when that was around in South Philadelphia, and Rocky toys were the big thing back then, Rocky Balboa. So I bought, with my birthday money, a Rocky figurine, Clubber Lang, I don't know, Apollo Creed, whatever. And as we're driving home, I remember turning to my parents and saying, you know what, these toys are great. I really like these, but what's the point of them? What's the point of playing? I said there's no purpose to it. I'm going to play with these toys. I'll enjoy it for a short amount of time. And then when I'm done playing with them, what was the point? What was gained by it? And I don't know. Maybe that's some silly way to look at things. Some people might say to me, well, that's ridiculous. I mean, you can have all kinds of hobbies that have no purpose to them. I, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I'm not wired that way. I can't have a hobby that doesn't have the potential to do something, whether that something is to make other people's lives better, or to make my family's lives better, or to make some money. I don't know why I'm like that, but I am like that. So these videos are not up here to celebrate, Justin Mirigliani and ulcerative colitis and mental illness. So the bottom line is, if you think they're worth it, then watch them. If you don't think they're worth it, then don't watch them. I'm not offended. You don't have to. If you think they might help other people, please share it. But here's the thing. Yesterday, I couldn't even make a video. I was so tired. I was like a boxer who's been beat up, who's been punched in the mouth and knocked out cold, and I'm standing up and my eyes are rolling in the back of my head and I'm stammering around. That was me yesterday. In fact, I went to the pool with the kids and Amy, and I couldn't even stay. I stayed there for 45 minutes. I drove home and told them I was going to go to bed, and I would pick them up, call me. And I kept the phone by I actually slept on the couch, but anyway, I kept the phone by the couch, and when it rang, I picked it up and went to pick them up. So, I was like a wounded animal. I did not want to be bothered with anything. And there's also, and this is the thing that people are afraid of, the rage. Yes, I was in a rage yesterday. I had moments of rage. That doesn't mean that I was going to go hurt someone, and that doesn't mean that I was going to go shoot somebody or beat somebody up. What it meant was I felt angry. That's what it meant. And it was torturous because I was extremely angry. And I sometimes there was no reason to be angry. I'll give you an example. When I was sitting at the pool, the sun was beating down on me, and I was trying to get in the shade. I figured I'll just sit in the shade and watch them swim. And the hotter it got and the sweatier I got and the more uncomfortable I got, the angrier I got. I was like, this damn sun is so friggin' hot, that type of thing. Uh, is it rational to be angry at a hot sun? Of course not. But in the state that I was in, I felt angry. When I got home, I had an issue with my ileostomy. The bag was leaking, and I couldn't stop it. I had to change my wafer. And it just annoyed me to no end that on top of everything else that I'm dealing with, this damn bag is giving me a hard time, and now I have to work with it. I have to do something. I have to fix it. And I will tell you, I'm not proud of it, but I use the F word in every possible part of speech. There were sentences that were completely the F word. That's it. No other words. And I was livid. I was so angry. Now, you remember when Mr. Rogers says, when he had that song, "What do you do with the mad that you feel?" It's the action that is the issue. It's what you do with the anger. So having this problem, and the agitation is certainly part of the withdrawal symptom, that doesn't make me a violent person. I'm able to control the anger. Now, do I have outbursts? Yeah, like cursing. Or have I punched the steering wheel 15 times because somebody cut me off? Yeah. Have I spiked the cell phone? Yeah. The other day I had a mouse on the keyboard and the mouse wasn't working. It was the right click was sticky and it was just a pain. And I finally hauled off and put my fist right through the mouse and smashed it to smithereens. Now, is that a good thing to do? No, it's not a good thing to do. But that's the kind of thing that happens when you have that kind of agitation. That in no way means that you're going to be a danger to anyone or that you're going to hurt people. And I think that's what a lot of people worry about with mental illness. I'll give you an example of what it would be like. If you've ever seen the movie It's a Wonderful Life, and Jimmy Stewart is playing George Bailey, and he's his company, because Mr. Potter, the bottom line is he's $8,000 in the hole, and he's going to go to jail because they think he embezzled the money. And Jimmy Stewart or George Bailey's at home, and the kids are playing on the piano, and they're asking him questions, and they're all excited about Christmas because it's Christmas Eve. And, you could see the agitation building. You could see the anger starting to rise up, the anger. And finally he snaps, and, he screams at his kids at the top of his lungs. And then he slaps books off the desk. And then there's a table with some Christmas decorations, a train or a bridge or something like that. And he just hauls off and kicks it across the room and grabs some books and throws them down. That's what it's like. Now, does that mean that character was going to be violent and kill people? Of course not. He was angry, and he just unleashed his anger on inanimate objects. So, it's another stigma that if somebody with mental illness has a rage, that means that they're dangerous. Not at all. It just means that they've had a rage and they done something stupid like break a mouse or throw something. But that's what it was like yesterday. A lot of rage and also a lot of paranoia. Every time I looked in the mirror, every spot that I saw on my face, or every bump, or every, was one side of my body bigger than the other? Do I have a hernia where my stoma is? If I do, is it bigger than it was before? To me, everything right now looks like it's abnormal, like it's something to be afraid of, something that's dangerous. And it's very difficult to know what is truly a problem versus what is absolutely not a problem and just part of the mental illness. So that's another thing to deal with. There's anxiety over things that may have absolutely nothing of substance. I'm probably worrying about things that don't make any difference. And, I'm short with the family. I haven't, it's all one word answers. I found myself yesterday staring into space, just not. I don't want to be bothered. I'm just so tired. And today I forced myself to make this video. I went to church this morning. I didn't want to go. I wanted to just stay in bed all day, but I decided, you know what, I can't let this son of a bitch win. So I decided that, you know, it's time to fight back. But I'm probably in a few more days going through this. But if anybody's ever been through drug withdrawal or anxiety, depression, OCD, whatever, no, you're not alone. We're all going through it. If you're mentally ill, we all know what it feels like. For those who don't, I hope this gives you an idea. It's time. I think it's a lot harder for me to do this than somebody who's already famous and accomplished, because people could look at me, since I'm an average Joe, and say, oh boy, that guy's nuts. You know, there's something wrong with him. But if a professional athlete does it, they've already accomplished something incredible, right? They already have their fame, and people look on them and say, wow, isn't it cool that they were able to overcome the mental illness? It's all perspective. So again, thanks for watching. I'll keep updating, just like I did for UC. It's no different. It's no different. When I chronicled what I was going through with colitis and the operation and what it was like to live with an ileostomy and all that stuff, I did that for one reason. I did it because I wanted other people to see what it was like to go through it in case they were going through it. Before I had the ileostomy surgery, I was desperately searching the internet for people who were like me. Desperately searching for people who have an ileostomy and still lift weights and still play basketball or football or hockey like I do. And I didn't find a whole hell of a lot. It was difficult. You know, it felt like the end of the world, because I thought I'm the only one in the world that's going to be like this. And that certainly isn't true. The only thing is, the other people who have gone through it have done it silently. I'm not knocking them. A lot of people don't want their business spread all over the place, and I don't particularly like it either at times. But I do this because, again, if I did not do it, the suffering is just suffering with absolutely no positivity whatsoever, and I'm not going to let that happen. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from. And for all those who've posted or called or text, thanks so much. I'm going to get better. You know, I'm not going to be like this forever. Tuesday, I'm going to go back in the gym just like normal. I'm going to start working again. Even though right now, if I read an article, I have to read it 6 times to understand what it's about, because my head is so clouded. That's okay. I'm going to keep doing it, and then sooner or later, I won't have to read it 6 times. It'll be back to normal. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody's doing okay. Enjoy your holiday weekend, and I'll let you know what's going on.